Hey guys! Today we have the one and only Ferrari GTC4Lusso T. We are going to see why this four-seater V8 Ferrari is the ultimate wagon. And of course, you have this massive long hood housing that twin turbo V8 under there. So the GTC4Lusso is actually the successor to the Ferrari FF. These MSRP were about $250,000, but today you can grab these for about $170,000. So the GTC4Lusso name is actually just one huge acronym. GTC means Gran Turismo Coupe, the 4 means the 4 seats, Lusso means luxury, and T means turbo. So these are actually super rare, and there's only about 10 for sale in the entire nation. And of course, you have this massive long hood housing that twin turbo V8 under there. And thanks so much to Brian from Tampa Auto Gallery for letting me show you guys this awesome Ferrari GTC4Lusso. Coming along the side, we have these really nice gray wheels that honestly pull this whole car together. We have our tiny little turning signal on the side, which Ferraris are known for having. Above that, we have some vents that kind of look like gills on the side of this car here, which actually look pretty cool. We have our nice Ferrari badge on top of that. And moving down a little bit more, we have just some kind of regular-ish door handles, kind of supercar-y, kind of not. And we have some very long windows along the side here. I would say this back window has to be the longest back passenger window I have ever seen. And if you ever get locked out of your Ferrari and have to use the physical key and keyhole, it's kind of a pain to get there. You gotta sort of halfway open up your handle and use your other hand to kind of jam the physical key in the keyhole because it's kind of far in there. I guess they wanted to hide it a little bit, but I mean, that kind of sucks.
Before this video gets going, I need you to go check out me on my socials. I love checking out cars on the side, but I post all of my best content in the link below. Plus, you get to see this awesome review of this Audi R8.
And on to the back hatch of this wagon here, we have a very small window for visibility. We'll see how that is once we get inside. Moving down, we have our super cool horse Ferrari badge. It's pretty big, letting everybody know this is the ultimate Ferrari wagon. And then we have these super cool taillights. I love the quad design. Honestly, kind of matches the exhaust a little bit. That's cool. And then coming on down, we have this F1 style diffuser, which looks super sick and sporty. And for such a massive car, it has such a tiny little gas cap. It's so cute, you could almost miss it. And to open this little gas cap, there is a little button on your driver's side door right here to pop it open. And it does have a capless design. And then there's this little sticker on the side that says, "Please wait 10 seconds before pulling out the gas nozzle." I don't know what that 10 seconds does, but that sure is different. So I hope you're not in a rush. Now, getting into the hatch of this car, there's a little button right here above your license plate. Pops open. And honestly, for this being so big, there is honestly not a whole bunch of room. You could probably lay the seats down and put a few things back there, but width-wise, I kind of expected a little bit more. We do have some nice materials back here, like this whole part right here is metal, and this little close button is enclosed in some metal around here. One really cool feature about this, though, is that right here on this little cargo piece that you can actually take out, it shows your personalized specifications for your car specifically, which is super cool. And we also have this weird shelf thing right here in the middle. It kind of hinders you from laying anything flat. I don't know. I just don't feel like it's super practical as it's supposed to be. And for your kidnap handle back here, it's like kind of on this little top hatch piece, and there's this little panel that has a car with the hatch pulled up. You take that off, and you kind of got to stick your finger up there and like fumble for this kind of stringy mechanism that you're supposed to pull down. So I hope you get kidnapped with a flashlight because there's no illumination to it. And then over here on this other side, there is this tiny little red string hanging off. You pull it and it releases your gas cap. Like, what? What's that doing there? Now, let's see if I fit in the hatch of this GTC4Lusso here. Oh, okay, kind of deep in here. And this is how you close it. Bye. Yeah. It literally is the little Ferrari wagon. That's so cute. And one cool thing is you can actually lay this middle seat down so you can put things right there through the middle if you just wanted to do that rather than laying everything flat. And to lay the rest of the seats down, there's these little latches on the side here that you kind of pull, and then you got to push them down yourself. Kind of wish they were power for the price of this car. And to get the seats down, it's quite a process. We counted the steps. It's like 6 entire things you have to do before you can have everything laid flat and open. There's this little cargo piece that has this weird little mechanism latch thing on it. You got to first get that out, and then kind of it gets like swingy, and so you got to pick that up, and then you got to lay the seats flat and pull all 3 of your little latches. And now you have all of your cargo space. And to open your massive Ferrari hood, there's this little kind of red latch underneath the steering wheel slash footwell area, and it has this almost clown car on it. Like they couldn't make it like the hatchback thing in the back where it had your actual Ferrari on it. But okay. So you pull that, your hood pops open, and then you have the little latch right here to open that. You pop that open, revealing your big V8 under here. So this car is a 3.9-liter twin turbo V8 making 602 horsepower with a 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, which is wild for as big as this car is. And it has a top speed of 200 miles an hour. And this is rear wheel drive with a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Now, let's give it a listen. That sounds so good. Love the little gurgles, but like the little higher pitched at the end. Sounds so good. Moving on to this gorgeous interior in here. Like, holy cow, this is so sporty, so cool. We have our super sick red Ferrari key here that just so happens to match this beautiful red interior. And there's just a few buttons on the back, unlock, lock, hood, poppy things like that. But overall first impressions of this interior is just like how sporty and cool it is, but like so practical and big. Like you can literally fit 4 huge people in here comfortably. And you have so much room for everything, right? It just works. I love this color red. It's not too bright, but it definitely screams Ferrari. And this all these black accents are just like chef's kiss. Absolutely love the embroidered horses on the seats here. Everything is so cool, but it's like a lot going on. It's quite busy, but it's quality. You know when you're stepping into a Ferrari, everything is just going to work and look nice and be cool, and that's exactly what this is. And I just love all the different kinds of materials they used in this interior just to give everything like a little bit more edge and coolness. Like we have these kind of metal like jet engine looking vents that just like continuously spin. Those are super duper cool. And if you want to stop flow or start flow, there's a little switch right there on the top so you can control that easily. They just work, right? Move down to our black leather and our red leather. And I mean, this perforated is so cool. Like, I've never seen that. All of these colors just come together so nicely, and it's not like oversaturated with one. This looks so good. I am in love with this interior. Center console wise, there is a lot of buttons going on, but I think they're all like super self explanatory and easy to use. The dials feel great. They actually click like this is touchscreen and you can actually use the dials, which is super cool. And then we have our climate controls down here as buttons, or they are in the screen in your comfort settings, so you can mess with them there, which is cool. I like that you have both options and it's not just limited to the screen. And then down here we have a very Ferrari-esque change of gear button, like you have your reverse and your automatic and things like that, your hazard buttons. Then we have our perforated center console. And then this spot right here is actually where your key goes. He has his own little cubby, and that's where he sits while you're driving so that you don't lose it. And I really love that this center console design goes all the way to the back seats. It's like one continuous thing. You definitely don't see that too often. Now getting into this whole steering wheel gauge cluster area, there is quite a bit going on, but honestly, it's very simple, which I like. So first, to control your left screen over here, there's this little dial on the side, and you just pop through three little small screens giving you like your tire pressure and your degrees of your oil and things like that. And then if you want to use your right side of your screen, there's a little scrolly wheel on the back of the steering wheel here. First screen is mile per hour. And then we can go down to media, your navigation, and your phone. Easy peasy. But it's weird that there's like two different dials for it. The left dial on your left side of the back of the steering wheel actually controls your volume. You would think that would control that screen, but it's kind of odd that that doesn't do that. And these paddle shifters feel so good. Like they're touchy, you know? Like it's just so easy to shift up and down with that 7-speed dual clutch transmission in here. And then moving on to the inside of the steering wheel and all these little buttons here. One really cool thing that I like that Ferrari did was that they have the turn signals integrated into the steering wheel, but they have this kind of overhang design so that when you're like kind of racing, you don't have to move your fingers off of the steering wheel. You can just simply press the turning signals with the backs of your fingers so that you can keep your hands stiffly on the wheel, which is so nice. And then coming down, you just have a couple lighting buttons, your suspension button right here, the big red engine start stop button. We have some phone and voice controls, and then we have our windshield wiper stuff right there. And of course, the most important thing on the steering wheel here is you have your Manatino buttons or your drive modes if you want to be regular. And you can just easily click through those. We have comfort, sport, wet, and it just works. You know, it just goes in the right spot. Super nice. And I love the red kind of going together here on the steering wheel. And overall, everything is just super simple, but it looks so good and it's functional and things just work. I absolutely love this car. It is so cool. Something I would totally drive. So once again, if you can't use your electronic key fob and your electronic button to start your car, you think, oh, I'll just use my physical key. And it has a little physical key button, right? This is the spot that you would put that if your backup is needed. Revealing another start-stop button. Like your electronic key button failed here, what makes you think it's gonna work here? And just a couple things about visibility in this car here. Like I mentioned earlier, that back window is very small and you can hardly see out of it when you look up in your mirror, but that's what the backup camera is for, so no worries there. But we do have like this kind of very big windshield. Definitely don't think you'd have a hard time seeing out of this. And these windows are huge on the sides of you here. And just as you're sitting in this car, I don't feel like it's as big in here as it looks on the outside. So I don't really feel like maneuvering or going around tight corners or anything like that would be too hard. Even though this car is big, like it feels like it's right there. And for storage in here, I mean, it is actually pretty plentiful. We have it on each side of our doors in the pockets here. We can pop this open a little bit, revealing our cup holders, or you can put some smaller things in there. And then we have this magnetic center console here, which pops open. But the magnet is like so strong, it kind of pulls this little felt piece off because I don't know, it's just so strong and it just pulls itself off. And this thing does not hold up itself, so be careful with that. Moving on to the side here, we have our glove box down here, which we can hit with the open button right there. And it reveals this little hangy thing with a little horse on it. And you would think, hey, would that open my hood maybe? Because, you know, the gas thing in the back. Let's see. It opens this little tiny storage area right there in the top. But there's also another way to open it, and that is with this tiny little button right there. That's cute. But for that area, you could also option a screen for your passenger that shows a couple of the features in the gauge cluster for like $6,000 or $7,000. Or you could just have it as a cute little storage area. And you just have a little center console area here. You have a couple USB plugins and a 12 volt right there. So that's going to be most of your storage, but it works. And for infotainment in the screen area here, it is pretty basic, which I prefer, but I could see people wanting just a little bit more for the price of the car, especially. We can start off on the screen here with the Ferrari logo, of course, or you can move into your menu, which you only have a few little things here. You have radio, your media if you want to connect Bluetooth, navigation, your phone, comfort settings, which includes your climate controls and seat controls and things like that. And then your last thing is just your settings, just a few things in there. But what's cool is you always have your climate settings on the sides of the screens here so that they are easy to access if you don't want to use the buttons. And a super cool feature is your seatbelt gets delivered to you in your Ferrari GTC4Lusso T. Now, let's hop into the back seats. So hopping into the back seats here, they are power seats, thankfully. So we just pull this little handle, go forward, and they start to move for you. So you can just swiftly get into the back seat here. And here we go. If I pull them back, it will start to move back, but this is already in the position that it was in. So now it won't do it. But back here, I mean, I'm very comfortable. These seats are just as comfortable as the ones in the front. They're very cushy, you know, they feel great. I mean, I'm comfortable back here. A full regular size person can fit comfortably, and it is just super comfortable back here. These seats are just as cushy as the driver's seats. I absolutely love them. Even the back seats are kind of bolstery. You're not going to go everywhere around here. And we do have a few points of storage, some more cup holders right there. And then we have our center console following back here with the same magnetic design, just not as deep as our front center console there. We carry the perforated material back here as well, and our same little jet engine air vents. But I mean, not much to say back here. It's very roomy, lots of headroom. I can put my arm all the way across here. Like, it's roomy, it's nice. I love the hatch design. You can definitely tell that it's a little more spacious and like bubbly in here a little bit. And I absolutely love that the Ferrari logos are on every single seat. So they're not just on the front. They really carried all of their good little bits throughout the whole backseat area and didn't skimp on anything. Now for my 3 favorite features, one has to be the color of that interior. I absolutely love the red. It really makes it sporty and very Ferrari-y. And the seats are super cushy and super comfortable, which is what you would want for your family wagon here. 2 is those really cool quad taillights back there. Any Ferrari taillight is distinct and super cool, and they have like this nice little halo that just kind of glows, and it is sick. 3 is that this car is just, it's a Ferrari, but it's so incognito. You're like undercover driving it, so you don't get the Ferrari attention that you would in like a bright red 458, right? So it's pretty undercover. You're slinking by, you know? It's cool. I love this car so much. I could definitely see myself owning one. So for my Riley ranking, I'm going to have to give it a 9 out of 10. I really love this Ferrari. I love everything about it, but I think the practicality is like a little low in the hatch space. There's really not much you can put back there. I know they tried, but they tried, you know? And the infotainment is just a little basic, but it still looks nice. I enjoy buttons and things like that, so it isn't a problem for me, but it's awesome. This is super cool. I love that they pulled practicality, Ferrari, family all together. And if you thought this car was cool, you have got to go check out the others that I have reviewed. This back mirror here, hold on. It is that, right? Okay. Family, hold on. Oh, wagon, family, whole steering wheel. Hold on, like thing, like what?